Hey, well, so I'm even fitting into this frame. So it's my new iPhone, so I'm just getting used to it. Sorry about that. It seems to be like quite widescreen. But yeah, basically, I thought I really should come on here and finish off what I was talking about the other day, which was essentially record pluggers. And I think I said that I ended up and it just cut off when I was going on about record pluggers owning the industry, music industry that is. Which I should probably qualify a little bit. There might be one person watching this going, just one person watching this. You might be thinking, what the fuck are you talking about record pluggers owning the industry? Like, what? So I should probably qualify that. But obviously the main reason these videos is to talk about writing and my new book, Urban Myth Part 1, Awakening. And I'm really gonna read some of this baby out. Yeah, you might be able to catch some cool dialogue there. That's halfway through. I haven't given away too much exciting things there. It's essentially the story of a man called Zion Vega who lives in the year 2317. Things are pretty different, and the world's in a pretty different place to where it is now. And basically, Zion is tasked. Well, he's not even tasked. Zion has discovered some crazy stuff that I think you'd be quite interested in. So pick up ebook copy now if you want, or wait a couple of weeks. It should be on paperback, or just watch me read it and decide it's rubbish. It's up to you. But yeah, so that I'm going to do that. I'm having problems, if I'm honest, like sort of coordinating it so I don't look like this. Hi, see you. So that's going to look rubbish. I have these, which I'm going to put on like so I can read it, and it's like you won't even really see where my eyes are. So that's pretty clever, I think you'll admit. Yeah, so I'm probably going to do that, but not quite yet because still kind of yeah, I'm still going to have a couple of practice runs and do it anyway. Shut up, David. Keep going about record pluggers and stuff. Yeah, so basically the thing I wanted to say about record pluggers is, if you're owning the industry, might be a big leap to make, but essentially if you're in a band, or you want to be a manager of a band, or start a record label, whatever it is, basically you're involved in getting a band airplay, you're going to need a record plugger basically. And the best one you can get, the more airplay and better airplay you'll get. So you might as well put that money in straight away to get a record plugger. It's like you might as well just start a band, get 10 grand off some bank or whatever you can do, put something to bind onto the tour of a fucking whatever band it is in your genre that will do you good and get you to people, expose you to fans, and get a record plugger which will expose you to listeners of radio stations, if they are such things, which they are obviously still, because people are still listening to music, just about. So that's what I was going on about record pluggers. Not sure they own the industry. There's some, they're not bad people or anything, and it's they're handy to have on your side. But it's just one of the things that music industry kind of works on. So books are probably kind of similar. I'm not sure you really have record pluggers because you don't have the need to get airplay in the same way, but basically like you need people to get your agent, essentially. If you're a writer, might get you a film rights sold, or whatever, that kind of thing. So it's slightly different basically. I think pretty much any writer who's trying to write knows that you've got to get an agent if you want to get a major publishing deal nowadays, which is kind of weird when you think about it, which is something I've got a bit of an issue with, and which is hence another reason I did it, because a lot of people think, oh, well, you just publish this yourself because you're too rubbish to get an actual publishing deal, and everyone will think it's rubbish. No, I don't actually. The thing is, I have written stuff I think it's pretty cool that I will definitely be sending to agents, because it's different. I'm not sure where I'm going with it, and it's the sort of thing I'd like an agent in the profession to see, and maybe have a chance of a traditional publisher getting involved with it. But as far as things like this go, excuse me, I think I will put this up against any sci-fi story that's come out recently. Really, I think it's good. I've planned it really well, plotted it really well, put a lot of time into it. It's been edited, it's been proofread. Why not? Basically, fair enough. I might not be able to afford the same kind of editing that a big publisher can at the minute, but there's a lot of independent editors out there who will edit for 500 to £1,000. You'll get your whole book edited by a professional editor, or don't edit it, just bung it out if you want. But obviously that might show. But the thing is, that kind of brings me around to my point, which is a long laboured point, I know, and I know this is kind of torturous, but if you're sticking with me, then you know I do appreciate it. So basically, this is my whole point, really. My whole thing is, if you're a writer, forget about musicians. Musicians are in a hard position now. It's hard to take any kind of power back because it's so far down a certain route. And like I said before, and I will come on to this again maybe if you're interested, so I think that's the distribution mainly. Whereas with writing, it's more about the rights, the retainment of the rights of the art itself. The physical copies that you're selling through, say, a publisher, are still quite popular things. You still have, you know, there's still quite a big market for it, so it's obviously a really good thing to get a traditional deal, but on face value it is. But all I would say is, like, I think now, and I know people saying, yeah, that's just because you don't have an agent or whatever, but it's like, I seriously haven't, I didn't send out to anyone, like, because what is the point really of sending stuff out in a genre that has 1, 2, probably 3 agents in the UK, say, I'm talking UK here, that are worth anything, who deal in this sort of stuff, who could get you a deal with the sort of advance that it could set you up to write a few more and not have to worry about your day job and all that kind of stuff. There's not many, basically, trust me, there's not many, so it's really hard to get read by them. So essentially, what's the point? What is the point of waiting around me writing this in a month, right, and then waiting around for 6 months to get proof, to get maybe a rejection letter from a guy who's probably got Christ knows how many books to get through, who's probably not going to read most of them because he's going to have to get, you know, interns or whatever it is to read through, to have a slush pile. This is how it works, because you can't physically read. I mean, imagine how many manuscripts a guy like John Jarrold or like a top publisher would get sent a week. It's got to be a lot, I imagine. So they've got to get through that somehow. They could miss anything. They could literally miss anything. And it's a famous Beatles Harry Potter story where J.K. got ignored by loads of publishers, you know. And like, you know, I love Harry Potter. I'm sure loads of people do. But if you read that first book, you could be forgiven for like throwing it out of the slush pile. Like, bottom line. She hadn't been given that chance and that kind of development, that book wouldn't exist. No doubt about that. And I really think we're in danger of that never happening again unless writers take control. So just to fucking shut up, Dave. I know what you're thinking, but I think this is so important that you can take control of your rights. If you sign your rights away to a publisher, then that's great. But you know, you're obviously doing that for a reason. You're not an idiot. You're not like, oh my god, like, you're signing it away for a reason. But just be aware, just know what you're doing. Know you're doing that. Know that you're doing that. Know that the advance might not cover your what you want. It might do. I don't know, but it might. No, I hate to get you like a £1 million advance, like some people used to get, probably still do in certain cases. But you know, it brings me on to another point. Like in the book industry, they'll give £1 million advance to maybe David Walliams or Jordan, or whatever, you know, because they know those things will sell. But if someone's writing something innovative, fantasy or whatever, they're not going to give them. They're not going to really give them that kind of money. And you're going to have to struggle against a lot of factors to get noticed. And what happens, like when we had, like, in the music, yeah, you can have a distribution, you can have a display in HMV, but it doesn't really matter if it's only there for a few days and then nobody's buying any of it. It's all fluff, like, do you know what I mean? It's just doesn't really mean anything. It's great to have stuff out, but basically nowadays, like writers, this is the chance that you can take control and you can stop what happens to the music industry happening to the writing industry. Because think how much, if you've got a book out and you've got readers out there reading your books, then they're going to buy your books no matter who publishes those books. If they can get them on Amazon or whatever, they're going to do it nowadays. Like if you know, they might buy them in bookshops, lots of people do, but their first stop was probably going to be Amazon. It's probably going to be Amazon, basically. So that's just a fact, basically. So you can take full control of everything you put onto Amazon if you're a writer. In the future, when it comes to renegotiating your deal, you say, I don't want to give my rights to any of my ebooks or stuff like that. There's loads of things you could do. Or like I was saying the other day, we could start. I'm going to try and, you know, I'm starting a publisher. You know, probably won't come to anything, but say that it did and I did get some capital, even a, you know, I could put a couple of grand into another writer in a similar position. We could team up, we could become something more, and like, you could start a whole new publishing company that in 10 years is just publishing wicked stuff, and it's not bothered about the commercialisation that these other, you know, oh no, we need to sign, you know, fucking Big Brother geezer or some bloke off of The Only Way is Essex to write some book about his life, so we can sell enough copies to cover this guy who's written this classic literature book, but we can't really support him because, like, who wants that shit nowadays? Eh? It's just like throw out pap with stupid people talking crap, because that's what people buy. No, that's bollocks, basically. That's bollocks. Like, if you do that, culture ends, basically. There has to be people writing great stuff and getting it out there. Thankfully, there is people doing that, but I'm just saying that's what we need to do now. You know, basically, there's other things I need to talk about now that this leads on to, like, in the record industry, what happened was, now I'm going to sign off here, I know this is going on for ages, I'm really sorry, but basically what happened in the music industry was they ended up with 50-50 deals, these things, or in the round deals, and mark my words, this is what will happen in the book industry, because they'll just take less and less of what they give to the writer. They'll go, well, we can't give you advances anymore, we can't give you that much advance, we can't give you this much percentage, we can't do this for you, we can't do that for you. We need a 50-50 deal, we need half of everything you ever write, or something. You know, it's not quite the same, because you can't bite everything in the music industry. I'll have a bite of the t-shirts, please, have a bite of the CDs, or have a bite of the image rights, have a bite of the videos, have a bite, yum, yum, yum. That's basically what it is. And fair enough, people want to make money out of these things, that's why they exist, I totally accept that. But you've got to bear in mind, last thing to say, that in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s, and in the year 2000, to probably quite recently, basically people were getting massive advances in the music industry. Music companies were throwing money at artists because they knew they would make loads and loads, millions out of the physical sales of their product. This has changed like immeasurably in the past few years, and because of things like Spotify, the bottom has literally fallen out of making money for these artists. This is why you see all these old bands coming back. This is why Aerosmith are, you know, 75 years old and they're having to come out and do all their hits at Donington, you know, and that's, you know, that's great if you're into Aerosmith, but just put yourself in that position. You might have like a granddad or a dad who's 75 years old every night playing high octane rock and roll. You know, they're not doing it for fun. So basically this is a problem, but it's just a call to action for any writers, whoever you are, whoever your agent is. All I'm bothered about is writing decent stories and making writing really good, and I'm going to make videos about you know, good writing, bad writing, what I think is good writing, what I think is bad writing, structuring, plotting, characters, all these things, because that's what's important. And God, I'm sorry for going on so long, and I'm sure a lot of people won't stick all the way through this, but if you did, thanks very much, and I will definitely read some more of that and stuff, my book, that's the thing, and catch you soon. Cheers for sticking with me, appreciate it.